Ahora esta canción se lo dedico a Orden, que es mi grupo más favorito. Te dedico a ti, Carlos. Te cuento el vídeo. The music so just so hot. Oh. Don't give up. Os la dedico.
She's just that's for me, she's the one.
I know everybody's dancing around and the music's so loud, you're so hot. Oh,
My heart goes tonight's gonna be just for us. Never you when I'm driving with no let me show you know that this feels like my head's ready to explode, cause I'm taking my shots and I don't wanna sleep on my own. She's playing, I hate is your heart feeling me, please keep your eyes on me all night long. If your love is burning, don't be mad at me. Oh, 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 in a random place to another place.
Howdy, Dennis! Your love is burning, don't be mad at me. Oh, 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 and running to another place. Oh, 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 you ever seen the way of your dreams? I can take care away from me. It's ready to float, cause it's taking me so time I don't wanna sleep on my own. Ready to keep one time I get this you don't hold me. Howdy! Did you know this is burning up in my body? Oh, 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 if I love you, then to a place. Oh, 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 oh. This burning, oh, 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 never play to another place. Oh, 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 Espero que os haya gustado. Esta os la dedico. Os la dedico a Aurin.